After the 1918 Civil War, the German-backed Whites secured victory and established the Kingdom of Finland under King Frederick Karl I. While the nation enjoys stability as de jure German protectorate, resentment over foreign influence grows, and radicals from both left and right gain strength amidst the king's inaction. At the beginning of 1936, political instability boiled up into small rebellions against the king. Luckily for us, they were much more interested in fighting each other than the current government, as we noticed in Viipuri. Their conflict, however, provoked the king to take greater safety measures, vastly increasing the secret police. At the same time, a strike would occur amongst the workers. Naturally, the government refused their demands. Trying to unify the people behind him, Frederick also held a huge speech in Helsinki. Situation began to slowly stabilize, and even a coup attempt by the far-right party, Lapua movement, was stopped. The socialist movement would slowly die out on its own too, due to actions of secret police and infighting. Meanwhile, across the border, Russia was collapsing. Boris Savinkov's authoritarian regime, which had ruled through repression and ultranationalism, fell. Widespread peasant uprisings and military defections led to a swift and brutal revolution. Within months, the Savinkov's government was overthrown, and the new communist regime took power in Moscow. With King emerging victorious in the power struggle, the government proceeded to begin the recovery from Black Monday, a crisis that our overlord in Germany faced. Dams and metal factories were built all across Finland. As Reich Pact was recovering, tensions started rising in Europe, and with the Russians laying claim on Karelia, it was clear that war was imminent. Finland quietly began gearing up for the conflict. The military stepped up training programs and started stockpiling weapons. Factories shifted to producing arms and ammunition, and fortifications along the borders were built. In February 1940, Finnish border patrols began spotting sizable Russian formations near the border, and with Russian invasions of Ukraine and Belarus already underway, it was clear that Finland would be next. Due to the two-front war that Germany faced, no additional forces could be spared to assist, meaning Finland would have to fight alone, at least until France was defeated. As the war broke out, small skirmishes erupted in Karelia. The Baltic Duchy managed to quickly occupy much of the territory south of Petrograd. Finland, seeing this, decided to capture Petrograd together with the Baltic Duchy, possibly even suing Russia for peace. As initial assault was successful, Finland still failed to encircle the city, though it was placed under siege by both sides. Meanwhile in Karelia, Russian forces worn down by continuous assaults and harsh winter warfare faced several Finnish counteroffensives that met with decent success. Finnish troops fought on single front, both defending their gains and launching attacks on enemy positions. The High Command prioritized capturing key locations such as Petrozavodsk and several other vital Karelian cities. After a short but determined march, Finland advanced deeper into Karelia, even managing to encircle several Russian divisions that had become lost in the dense woods and were left alone without supplies. Despite their determined resistance, these Russian units ultimately collapsed under the strain of encirclement and attrition. As the campaign wore on, fresh Russian reinforcements began to bolster the front, even as Finnish manpower started to run out. Faced with a growing challenge, the Finnish High Command opted for an ambitious offensive aimed at clearing all of Karelia and seizing the Kola Peninsula, a strategic move intended to consolidate their defenses and create a more secure border. Petrozavodsk fell swiftly, and with its capture, Finnish forces secured the surrounding territories, establishing a new defensive line along the Svir River. The offensive continued northward, and soon all of Karelia was brought under Finnish control, though Kola Peninsula proved a tougher challenge, with Russian units resupplied through Murmansk and aided by allies in Norway, mounting a fair resistance. The determined Finnish military eventually secured the key city and entire peninsula, pushing the advantage further. Finland's high command then advanced deep into northern Norway, greatly shortening the front. With Murmansk occupied and these new consolidated borders in place, the war shifted into a more positional type on highly defensible borders, just as the Finnish high command had planned. With its borders secured, Finland shifted to a defensive stance, sending volunteers to aid its allies while fortifying its gains. As the war turned into Reichspak's favor, Russian forces collapsed and Moscow fell. In the ensuing peace, Finland restrained all occupied territories, while a new stable government was established in Russia. With the conflict over, Finland emerged stronger, its independence and borders secured.